Hi there. Good evening, everyone. My name is Shivabrata Nayak. I'm from Bhubaneswar, and at present, I'm working as a faculty of English at TIME. So, welcome to my session. So, today we are going to discuss one of the major part of English section that's called as a verbal ability age. So, when we talk about verbal ability, what is that actually? This is nothing but one of the area of the English section. So in English, we find out two of the major areas. One is called as a reading comprehension and the other one is verbal ability. We know that reading comprehension is considering as a means reading based questions or passage based questions in which we find out 2 to 3 passage or maybe 4 to 5 passages. If you are going for CAT, MAT, JAT, GMAT, or you can talk about any kind of a competitive exams, right? There we find out the questions where the passages would be considering as a 2 to 3 or maybe 4 to 5 passages. Okay, so beside this 2 to 3 passages or 4 to 5 passages, there are other question types also, other reading based questions, like you can say summary based questions, or questions refer to para-jumbled questions or para-formation questions. Okay, so we normally find out 2 to 3 questions from para-formation, para-jumbled questions, and from 2 to 3 also from para-formation questions. Even questions also para-completion questions. We find out 1 to 2 questions from there. And from summary, we also find out 1 to 2. So in that case, if the number of the questions like 34, 40 or maybe 50, or in some of the exams they give you nothing but 100 questions. In that, the questions are segregated like that, right? So in reading comprehension, if the passages are 2 to 3, we generally find out 4 to 5 questions are there, multiple choice questions, or if it is a 4 to 5, same also 4 to 5 questions from each of the passage. It means you may get 8 to 10 questions, or you may get 16 to 20 questions from the passage, right? Beside this, you will also find out another area that's called the verbal ability area. In this verbal ability area, we generally deal with nothing but 3 of the areas. So that's called or 3 of the subsection. One is called as a vocabulary that deals with the words and their meaning. Second is modern English grammar and their uses. So in that case, modern English grammar and their uses. So basically it deals with nothing but you can say that structure of the sentences, error correction, diction, parallelism, modifiers, dangling errors, squinting errors, like this type of the questions. So basically it deals with nothing but the parts of speech, error correction, or you can say that means construction of the sentence. And the third one is nothing but CR or LR based questions. So generally CR or LR based questions we find out in a DILR section, but at the same time in English we find out those of the questions are considered as the verbal reasoning. So where the main job of this CR or LR is nothing but dealing with the flow of the ideas of the context. Now, if you ask me out of these 3, which one is very important? So I will say that the most important part is called the vocabulary. Why? That I'll tell you. But previous to that, let me point out, when we talk about reading comprehension and verbal ability, so why I can consider the second one, which is called the verbal ability. Now, if you go for any of the exam, right, these 2 areas are given, right, for the testing of students' ability. But at the same time, if I am saying that you are good at reading comprehension, so you do reading comprehension. If you're good at verbal ability, so you should do verbal ability. So in that case, it's a completely different ideology, right? Because I believe that reading comprehension and verbal ability both are interdependent. Somebody who is good at verbal ability automatically good at reading comprehension areas. Somebody who is good at reading comprehension, following with lots of rules like connotation, denotation, scheming and scanning, and understanding the vocabulary in the passage, then they can do well in a verbal ability areas also, right? So if you consider this verbal ability areas, so we find out three of the areas, and the major area is considered as a vocabulary. Why? Now, because maximum questions coming from this vocabulary sections. Like if you talk about this maximum number of the question types, what are the question types you will find out? You will find out the question types considering as a synonyms based questions, paired synonym based questions, paired synonym based questions, questions also pertain to antonym, questions also indicating pair antonym, question also indicating to the analogy based analogy. So analogy also means coming in a type 1 and type 2 based questions. Also people find out the questions pertaining to the homonyms, that's called as confusing words or homophones also, we can say that. Even we also find out the foreign terms, idioms and phrases, we also find out questions fill in the blanks, that may be 1, that may be 2, or that may be means 3. Maximum is 3 and minimum is 1 blank. We also find out the closed test questions. So closed test is means like FIB, where you will find out either 5 to 10 blanks, and all those all those blanks have the options and we need to choose it. So how they are different to each other? Fill in the blanks is nothing but a part of the paragraph or one of the sentence where multiple blanks are given. But in closed test is nothing but a paragraph that can consider with nothing but lots of jargon and using with nothing but one of the main idea right in the paragraph. So having with lots of blanks, yet also it presents nothing but one of the idea. Whereas fill in the blanks is nothing but a part of the paragraph or a sentence. Besides that, also we deal with appropriate uses of the words. Or you can say that inappropriate uses of the words. Inappropriate uses. Questions also referring to the collocation or association. Questions also indicating to the, you can talk about, that's called as a dictionary reference skills, right? Now, like this, you will find out the number of the questions or list of the question goes on, right? So that makes any of the students baffled. Why? Because the type of the questions are lot, right? But at the same time, all the questions focus into only one thing, that's called as a vocabulary. So a student who have a copious knowledge of vocabulary can able to deal such kind of questions. Not only these are the question types, but also able to deal reading comprehension based questions or also all those para based questions, right? But having scanty knowledge of vocabulary cannot able to tackle such kind of questions, as well as cannot even make a sentence, right? So vocabulary also helps the student, to use the jargon in his writing assessment test, right? As well as presenting himself unique of others, right? So now let me tell you another thing. Like when we talk about this all these vocabulary based questions and list of this number of the questions, and we know that vocabulary plays the vital role to tackle such kind of question types, then what should we do, right? We need to enhance our vocabulary skills. How can we do it? Now we can do it simply by focusing number of process, right? Let me tell you some of the process and also take some of the examples. Like think of it, we follow the process called as root words. So what is this root words? Root words are nothing but lexical form of the head word, right? Now, a student who is completely unknown to this particular jargon, root words and head words, let me point out, when we talk about the word called as a euphemism, EUPHEMISM. So this is called as a head words. Head words. Whereas if you ask me, then what is the root word? Now the root word is called as a EU. So if I ask you what is the meaning of euphemism, and if you means ask you what is the meaning of you, so euphemism is called as nothing but someone who always stay happy, right? You can say that always stay happy or happiness, right? Or pleasant, right? In that case, how do we know that the meaning of the word is called as happiness or pleasant? Simply by looking into the root word that's called as you. You is called as a means a pleasant or happy, right? So like look at the other words, other head words, like you can say euphoria, euphony, right? Eulogites. So these are the words which can be formed through this root word that's called as a euphoria, eulogites, or you can say that euphony, right? Now think of it, the root word is you, and through which we can make the word called as euphoria, who always stay pleasant. Eulogites, to whom you means praise all the time. And the other one is called as euphony, somebody who makes beautiful sound, right? So all these words are considering as a means that's called as a positive idea. So that is the reason we can say you is nothing but happy, right? That is why euphemism. Even you can also segregate this word euphemism. So ism is for nothing but considering as a belief, like we used to say realism. So look into the word called as ism, and through that you can also make means other means of words like realism, Marxism, even optimism, socialism, pessimism. So lots of words can be formed. So if you is called as a root words, then ism is called as a suffix, right? So what does it indicate? It indicates nothing but a candidate can be able to means learn huge words if he goes for nothing but means these are the root words, and able to understand the head words a lot in a very short duration of time, right? Like if you have much time, then you can every day try to learn 5 to 10 words, 10 vocabularies. But at the same time, I'll say also one of the thing, learning vocabulary in an individual form cannot help you forever. But using the same vocabulary in a sentence or in a means of phrase, or understanding the tone of that vocabulary, or means segregating the vocabulary into root words, prefixes, suffixes, then only you able to learn the vocabulary as well as use it in any of the sentence. Not only means understand the that's called as root words, prefixes and suffixes, you also understand the synonyms of it, which we call it nothing but means group words. Let me tell you about means group words. Like think of the word called as means disingenuous. What is that actually? Disingenuous is the word is called as nothing but a skillful, but at the same time in a means a wrong manner. So if you talk about the words which we can form or which we can make a group of it, we can say that Willy, foxy, or you can say clever, or we can say that artful, or we can say that means backdoor, right? Backdoor, cunning, conniving, or conniving. So like that, you can make numerous group words, and those group words can help you to replace. Instead of using one of the word, you can use another word so that your sentence can be formed, right? So like that means I have just pointed nothing but the root words and group words. We have also other words through which we can also learn the vocabulary. So rest of the things we will be discussed in the next video. Till then, thank you. Goodbye.